My life is a song. It just, you won't even let it happen. You won't let damage my attack. I need the attack on my mind, but you don't mind. This is scheduled for 3. You just sit down, grab your ticket, wait your turn.
This track, it was a rough week. I like Lime Rock. I think it's a good track, but it's not very forgiving. If you drop a tire off into the grass, you're probably going to have a bad day. And since the new GT3 series has been so popular, the races here this week have felt pretty cramped. Add to that at least I feel like a lot of the fixed setups are a little on the loose side, and you have a real recipe for disaster, which there was a lot of. My week wasn't as bad as as a lot of people had here. Really only had one race where the damage was bad enough that it just kind of ruined the whole experience. Outside of that went okay. Lots of P5s, a couple P4s. No podiums, unfortunately. Couldn't really get times down into the 48s consistently. I had a few like 48.8s, 48.9s, but I really hovered right around the 49 mark. Right up until the last race that I did Friday night. The McLaren, once again, way faster than any of the other GT3 cars that I tested here, so we're probably going to be driving that car for the rest of the season, which is fine. It handles shockingly well, considering all the flack that I used to hear people give it. And it shoots fire out of the exhaust every time you downshift, so you look like a badass even when you're slow. Next week, this series goes to Hockenheim, which I do not have a lot of experience at, but I think will be a fun time since it's a new track and it's a pretty legendary track. Sadly, we don't have any of the old layouts, but I still have this pipe dream that maybe one day iRacing will add stuff like that. Also this week, I stepped out of my normal pattern and did a little bit of the fixed Ferrari races in the 488. I haven't really done any of those so far this season, but they were at Summit Point this week, and that being my home track and a track that I can usually find pretty good times at, I felt like I had to do it. Only did 2 here, but for both of them I finished P4, had really good competitive times, had a lot of close and mostly safe racing, except for except for this one incident I had. This guy had been struggling all day, and I was just trying to get around him as lap traffic, and he runs wide here, and I don't know why I didn't see this coming. For some reason I thought he would get out of the throttle and just sort of like slowly rejoin. Of course not. He kept buried, and it was almost the end of my day here. And to wrap the week up, I drove the GT4 McLaren, the 570, at Sonoma. This was another fun, flowing track. Really, all the tracks this week were really smooth and had a great rhythm to them. I had some really mediocre mid-pack finishes, which for my iRating is probably not a good indicator. Generally speaking, in GT3s and the GTLM, I can be about 2 seconds off the really fast drivers. In GT4, that has not been the case. I've been 4 to 5 seconds slower, so I'm still missing some sort of important puzzle piece on how to drive this car. That being said, it's still a lot of fun to drive, but there's something that's not clicking, and it's at this point in the season, I think I'm actually going to hit the panic button and say, if anybody is willing to give me some help with GT4s, message it down in the comments or ping me on Discord. I'm getting kind of desperate because I know I should have a little bit more pace. I don't expect to be, qualifying on pole or winning races, but I know, looking at other series, that I should have more pace here than what I do. This series goes to Phillip Island next week, another track that I don't know at all, but this is one that I'm actually really excited to learn. I remember driving it on, I think, MotoGP, one of those games, and having a blast. But that'll do it for week 4. And 24 looms ever closer, and I'm strongly considering actually getting some pro training, bought from maybe VRS or Pure Driving School, but if I do that, maybe I'll do like a review video. Until then though, see you on the track.